another episode of the JK Sports podcast. It's your boys Kevin and Jack. Jack, it was a crazy day in college football. There was a lot happening today. We had an NBA on as well. College basketball starts on Monday, but Jack, probably one of the greatest sporting events, sporting series, playoff series that we've ever witnessed. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4 in extra innings. It was an incredible game, incredible series. What are you going to remember most about game 7 and everything that happened today?
For me personally, it's got to be I'm a baseball fan now. I watched baseball for probably the first time in my life today. Not really, but
Right,
intensely watching without doing something else at the same time.
right.
Um, but from the game itself, it's got to be those two home runs at the end. I mean, just absolutely insane. And truthfully, there's no other way the Dodgers were going to win. It had to have been off a home run because they do it every single time,
Yep.
is what it feels like. So that's my biggest takeaway is the home run to create extra innings, and then you go into extra innings and hit another bomb.
And what the craziest part is, like the guys that made the plays in extra innings and to send it to extra innings, it wasn't Shohei, it wasn't Mookie Betts, it wasn't Friedman. Um, it was the no names at the bottom of the depth chart. It was Andy Pajes. It was Miguel Rojas. Obviously, Max Muncy is a known guy. He had the home run in the eighth inning to bring it within one. But man, it's baseball. You have Miguel Rojas. No one's even thinking, man, this guy's about to go hit a home run right now. Everyone's just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get Shohei at bat with 2 outs left, like fate of the known world and the universe on the line. And then Miguel Rojas hits that thing out of the park. It was, just awesome. I mean, even though it's the supercharged Dodgers who have all the money and everything in the world, it came down to the ninth guy hitting. And that's what makes baseball great is that no matter how many stars you play, you need everyone on the team to contribute, and the Dodgers were a perfect example of that tonight, sadly.
Right. And honestly, it's not just baseball either. I mean, this is just a sports thing. It's from top to bottom. Your team needs to be good. They need to have that clutch gene no matter who it is. And today it happened to not be Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani. It's the guy the unsung hero, which I love.
Yeah. Obviously, we saw Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitch um, a complete game. We saw him pitch yesterday to send it to a game 7, and then the dude came in and pitched 3 innings today. And the Diamondback fan in my heart, just I was 1 years old, so I don't remember, but it was very Randy Johnson esque where he wins game 6 to force a game 7, and then he comes in and he gets the last outs when you need it most. At the end of the game, he wins Finals MVP. He's electric. I mean, unfortunately, Jack, you just became not a Dodgers fan. You just became a baseball fan, and there's probably going to be a really long lockout now that the Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series and are just dwarfing every franchise in baseball in how much they're spending and the loophole that they're paying Shohei Ohtani $2 million a year for the next few years, and then they're gonna pay him his money at the back end of his contract. Just it sucks, but I mean we'll never forget this series. We'll never forget 18 innings on Monday. We'll never forget 11 innings tonight. Um, any play that stood out in particular to you from the Blue Jays side where I think you and I were both rooting for the Blue Jays. What's going to keep them up at night tonight and, for a long time?
I mean, it. For me on the outside eye, it's got to be that pitch that um, that ended up getting homered in
Yeah.
the top of the ninth. Because I'm pretty sure the count wasn't the count 0-2,
I think so, yeah.
and you're throwing it right down the middle for the guy.
Yep.
And so that's what's keeping me up at night if I'm a Blue Jays fan is the fact that you're ahead in the count and you're throwing it right down the middle. Again, it's the guy that you wouldn't expect to hit a home run. He's hit like 2 home runs since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And so you're not expecting it, but he's
No.
in the MLB. If you
Yep.
throw one right down the middle, he's going to homer it, or at
Yep.
least make contact to be the game tying run. And so that's what's keeping me up at night. When you're up in the count, you got to make them chase.
Yeah. 100%. Um, bottom of the ninth. I think Will Smith's foot was off the bag, Jack. Or I guess the base, because there is no bag at home plate.
So it was,
I I
but
think
he got it down before the slide came in.
I don't know. It was I personally think if that's called safe at the plate, I don't think they overturn it.
Mm,
It 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 sucks. The Blue Jays came within, a fraction of a hair away at the bottom of the ninth. You have I think, you know, that every play in that ninth inning just had to go the Dodgers' way, and it basically did.
it did.
Obviously in the 11th, you have Vlad double to get on. And unfortunately, like Bo Bichette had to. I mean, he got the rally started in the ninth inning, but you had to take him out because he was so injured. And so in the 11th inning, you have to sacrifice bunt Vlad over to third, and then you have one out, and then that eventually sets up the double play that wins it. So it just sucks, man. Like if Bichette is healthy enough to run, like, perhaps things go differently. And right now we could still be watching a World Series game I mean, there's a thousand things that could have happened for us to still be sitting here watching a World Series game, but just an unreal night, an unreal game, unreal series. And unfortunately, David wasn't able to beat Goliath in the end. I don't know if you were getting any of these vibes, Jack, but felt like it felt very Pacers Thunder. It felt very like Houston versus Florida, where the scrappy underdog that everyone's pulling for the most part is so close to getting it done, but they just can't finish it in the end.
No, it definitely felt that way. Because I mean, the Dodgers are first. They're in LA,
Yeah.
so even if they're not good, that makes them a massive team.
Yep.
But then they're good, and they spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you're not a Dodgers fan, you hate the Dodgers essentially,
Right.
just because of those three factors. And so everyone in America minus Dodger fans were pulling for this upset for Toronto, but and like you said, it's the same thing with the NBA Finals. If you're not from OKC, you're cheering for the Pacers just
Right.
because of the way the team built. It's not the favorite to win, and it's just fun. It's fun to watch
Yeah.
those guys that you can relate to more fully than the team that is supposed to win. Because what's fun cheering for the team that's supposed to win?
Yeah. It's not fun. I mean, the reason why sports are great is because the underdog wins sometimes. And while, I mean, I feel like it's a little mean to call the Blue Jays an underdog. They had a better record during the regular season. They had 4 games at home. And but like just an upset as far as betting goes. And everyone knew that if the Dodgers when the Dodgers made it to the playoffs if they were at full strength. They were the favorites to win. Uh, Jack, maybe we'll talk some more baseball now that you're a new baseball fan. Going forward, but we have some college football to get to before the clock strikes midnight. Um, let's just start from the beginning of the day. Texas Vandy, Texas jumps out to a 24 to 3 lead at one point. Ultimately, they were up 34 to 10. The wheels came off for Vanderbilt early, and then the wheels fell off for Texas late. But Texas is back in the college football playoff conversation, unfortunately, after today. What was your biggest takeaway from this Texas kind of sort of convincing win?
The biggest thing that I've taken away from this game and just every game today is who is really good and
No one?
who is not as good. Because I
Right.
mean, if you're an above 500 team, you don't stink because you've won the majority of your games. And so I don't want
Right.
to say that any of these teams stink, but which ones are contenders? Because I thought Vandy was good. They just ended up losing to Texas. I thought Texas was good. They lost earlier in the season. I thought Miami was good. I thought I thought all these teams were good, but they keep losing. And so it's
Yeah.
just like at what point what who is who can I trust? That's what I'm taking away from especially this Vanderbilt game is who can you trust come December time?
Yeah, I mean maybe the list stops at Ohio State. I mean, I think Indiana's on that list. I think I think Indiana's on that list. Dude, I have no idea. I mean, halfway through the season we were like, man, Miami is like you can trust them. They're one of the best three teams in the country, right? And guess what? A team quarterbacked and let's just get right into it. I've been waiting all day to talk about this, Jack. Carson Beck showed us who he really is. He's been hiding. He's been pretending to be this good quarterback for over half of the season, and now he's showing his true colors. Boy, do I love to see it. This guy threw two interceptions today and had the game losing interception in overtime. It was marvelous because here's the thing with Carson Beck. He can make every throw. He's got arm talent. He's got, basically, I mean, I guess he has confidence, probably too much confidence. Um Physically, he has all the tools you could really want in a quarterback, I would say, but you just can't trust the guy. And Miami put their eggs in the wrong basket, trusting him this season. And Mario Cristofrod reigns again, Jack. Mario Cristofrod reigns again. Um, have been dying to dance on Miami's grave all season. Um, but anything else you'd like to add on the grave, Jack, or do you want to give SMU some flowers?
Well, first off, I want to dance on the grave because I was at a Halloween party last night talking to
Okay.
my friends. We're talking about Miami, and one of my friends says, "Miami stinks." And I said, "No, they
Right.
don't. No, they don't.
Oh.
They're a top 10 team. They are very good at football." And then
Oh.
they come out and prove me wrong. And they say, "Wait, maybe we're not as good as you think we are at football." And
Right.
so that's what really ticked me off about today is I was tooting their horn a little bit too much last night, saying
Yeah.
they're a true top 10 team. But again, SMU's a top 25 team in my opinion. I think they're a very good football team. Um, and I believe that they do deserve flowers because I think both of these teams are very good.
Yeah.
SMU played very well, and it's not just the fact that Miami messed up, it's SMU made them mess up. And
Right.
so I definitely want to give flowers to SMU. I love this SMU team as well.
Right. I mean, one of the things I was thinking about, Jack, during this game was is Kevin Jennings Miami's next quarterback, like next season?
He
And
could be.
I like it's crazy to say, but Jack, like I know SMU can pay him whatever he needs to stay, but ultimately, if he just wants to go win a national championship, he has a better shot at doing that at Miami than at SMU. And I really do think that Miami is perhaps the second or third best team in the country if they just had a different quarterback. Like, could you imagine if, like, here's what I was thinking today. If Mendoza goes to Miami, they're the number one team in the country, right? If Mendoza goes to Georgia, probably the number one team in the country. And Gunnar Stockton's like good, but he's not like he's not an NFL guy like Mendoza is, right? So like if either of those teams had gotten Mendoza, they might be like national championship favorites. And right now we have Taylor McGregor in the Utah student section, so that's great. Um, but it I mean it's so simple to say, but it really just does come down to quarterback. Quarterback is what lost this game for Miami. Do you know how many rush yards SMU had today, Jack?
I have not a clue.
23.
Oh man.
Everything that SMU did was on the shoulders of Kevin Jennings. Just I mean, he was awesome, but unfortunately and this is the world we live in, my first thought was, man, he's going to win a national championship for Miami or Georgia next year. So, um
I hope
let
not.
yeah. Thoughts on okay, so here's my thing. They took down the goalpost, right? Beating Miami. You went to the playoff last year. Like is I feel like I mean you've been to the playoff more times than Miami has. Miami has never been to a 4 team or a 12 team playoff. So like I don't know, Jack. I felt like it was I feel like field storming is getting a little too out of hand. And trust me, I love field storming, but if if you beat the top 10 team in the country, but you were the last team to make the college football playoff a season ago, like shouldn't you hold yourself to a little bit of a higher standard than storming the field and, bringing down the goalpost against a top, I guess technically they're top 10, a 10th ranked Miami team?
Yes, but here's my thing about storming the field is I think fans are just trying to find any excuse to get onto the field. And so,
Social media.
yep,
They want
yep,
the
they want the
selfie.
pics, they want to touch the field because it's just a cool moment to have in college. You want to be on the college football field. And
Right.
so, I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot more stormings than we have in the past because of social media, because of clout chasers and trying to be a part of that next level fandom, you know what I mean? So
Right.
just that hand in hand with athletes, like, oh, I'm stepping where they stepped. And so that's why I think we're seeing more court and field storms as of late,
Yeah.
just due to that fact of we want to be a part of it even more so.
Right. Exactly. It's just and I know it comes with the ranking, Jack. I know it comes with the ranking, but can you tell me who is leading the AC, like who's at the top of the ACC standings and where do you think Miami falls in that right now?
Miami's lost 2 games,
Yep.
so they're probably like fifth.
They're sixth.
Dang.
They're sixth.
Georgia
And
Tech's aren't they at top?
yeah, but they
But
just
they just
lost
lost.
to
That's
NC
right.
State. So they're tied for second at 5-1 with oh, interesting. The Pittsburgh
SMU.
Panthers,
Oh, Pitt.
who lost to West Virginia earlier this season.
Oh my
Somehow.
gosh.
Okay. Do you know who the number one team is? They're 5-0. They haven't lost an ACC game. Their one loss did come against an ACC opponent, but it was an out of conference game that they scheduled.
ACC. No.
Virginia.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's right.
And then we have the Louisville Cardinals at 4-1,
Yep,
tied with SMU at 4-1, and the Duke Blue Devils at 4-1. So you storm the
that's right.
field against a team that you were ahead of, that you're now ahead of in in your own conference. You are by definition a better team than Miami in conference. So and that gets us into let's get into that a little bit, Jack. NC State beat Georgia Tech today. I think the ACC is a one bid league. I mean, unless Virginia runs the table, which I kind of doubt it, looking at all these records. I mean, the ACC, like who's good in the ACC, who's bad in the ACC? I have no idea. And no one, I mean, if you had to bet on a team, who would you bet on right now, Jack?
I think it's still got to be Georgia Tech,
Okay.
personally. I still think they have the best team in the ACC,
Yep.
but I would never bet on it.
Okay. Yeah,
But
no. No. If you want to make money, it's
no,
it's it's not betting the ACC. That's
and
for
so
dang
I,
sure.
I definitely think it's a one bid team. Whoever wins the ACC is going to get in. Nobody
Yeah.
else, because everyone's beating up everyone this year. I mean,
Right.
it's just absolute chaos, and I love
Yeah.
it because you have Louisville winning and then losing. You got Georgia Tech winning, then losing. You got Duke beating everybody
Oh,
somehow.
Duke. Okay, here's the thing with Duke. So in the fourth quarter, they got the most, I mean, one of the most ridiculous PI calls on fourth down to save their season. And then not only that, they get the ball 2 plays later, run it into the end zone. Then they score the 2 point conversion and win the game. Just, I mean, Duke was dead. They were dead. And then the ref threw the flag. I mean, at least at least the announcers thought it was like one of the worst PI calls that they'd ever seen. I thought honestly it could go either way. I'm probably not calling it on fourth down because I know receivers are just they're just going to run into cornerbacks and try and draw pass interference. So for that reason alone, I probably wouldn't have thrown my flag there. But it's just I mean these games are crazy. The ACC might be the most fun conference to watch in the country, and like top to bottom, like you never know. Stanford's 2-4, and we thought Stanford wasn't going to win a game this entire season. They have the same amount of wins as Miami, and one of Miami's only two wins came against Stanford in the ACC. So it's just insane. Um, Jack, anything else on the ACC before we move on to a different, confusing, chaotic conference?
I love it. I just that's all I can say is just I love the chaos because it just means more fun and more meaningful games. So
Yeah,
that's all I have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have enough TVs to watch all the ACC games for the rest of the year. But
Yep.
if you turn it on, it's probably going to be high scoring because the defenses are for the most part not good, and it's going to be really fun football to watch. Um, the other kind of probably the most shocking upset today, Jack, West Virginia went into Houston and ended Houston's season. It was a cakewalk for Houston, so we thought, to probably make the Big 12 championship game at 11-1, and they couldn't even make it 1 week after beating Arizona State. They went in and honestly, like it wasn't a fluke. West Virginia just dominated them for 90% of this game. Your reaction to the Big 12 now coming down to Texas Tech, BYU, and potentially Cincinnati if they're able to win out for the rest of the year after
It,
losing to Utah tonight.
right. And it's another chaos type year in the Big 12. I've been paying a lot more attention to the Big 12 standings and whatnot, just due
Yeah.
to my fandom. Um, and I truly do think that this is going to come down to another tiebreaker. It could be a three-way tiebreaker to see who gets into the Big 12 championship. And that's unfortunate for the Big 12 because with Cincinnati losing and Houston losing tonight, we're going to be a one or two bid league now that we most likely will not see a bid stealer in the Big 12. It should be Texas Tech or BYU. It could be Cincinnati or Houston, but again, it comes down to tiebreakers. BYU is going to need to lose to Cincinnati now, and it's
Yep.
just absolute chaos again. My
Yeah,
only
it's
sorry,
crazy. No, you're good.
um, my only other thought is Utah could also be in the mix if somehow, some
Sucks.
way. But I love it. I honestly do love it
Yeah.
because the what I've been thinking about is BYU needs to beat Texas Tech
Yep.
for Utah to have a chance because BYU would need to lose three of their next four games for Utah to get in, and
Right.
Utah needs to win out. That's not
Yep.
going to happen.
No.
So then you go to the other side of Texas Tech. They've lost one. They need to lose to BYU and lose one more to get Utah in.
Right.
But that also means that Cincinnati and Houston need to lose another one. And then it comes down
Right.
to a tiebreaker and just chaos continues to ensue. So that's why I love the Big 12 this year. I mean, there's just so many possibilities. It's not like
Oh,
okay, you got this team and this team.
right.
So I love it.
Yeah. I mean, last year it was like this in the Big 12 last year, but I feel like for the most part, every other conference, like we kind of knew outside of Ohio State dropping the game to Michigan at the end of last season, we pretty much knew who was going to be in the SEC. Well, maybe that's not true. We had a good idea it was probably going to be Georgia and Texas, and then maybe Texas A&M or Ole Miss in November. I think we kind of knew it was going to come down to those four teams. ACC, we knew it was Clemson and SMU most likely. Big Ten, we thought it was going to be Ohio State, Oregon. Ended up being Ohio or Oregon, Penn State. This year, I think just every single conference except for the Big Ten, like we just have no idea, and that's what's going to make this November like one of the most exciting Novembers we've ever seen in the history of college football. Um, and I think, honestly, Jack, I'm scared for the Big 12. I think the only way they get two teams in now is if Texas Tech wins next week. Both them and BYU went out. So BYU beats Cincinnati. So those are the two like clear teams in the Big 12.
Mm,
And then BYU avenges their loss against Texas Tech. So then there's two one loss Big 12 teams that the committee or sorry, Texas Tech would be a two-loss team, but they would have a win over
right.
BYU, which would go a long way. I think that's probably the only way that the Big 12 gets two teams in now, unfortunately, unless the ACC really falls off and there's just like 5, 10-2 SEC teams at the end of the season. I don't think there will be. I think, like we saw today, um, Tennessee lost to Oklahoma, done. Vandy lost. They're probably done. Um, we saw, I mean, I don't think Oklahoma's going to win out for the rest of the season. Like, there are a lot of teams, they're going to be 9-3 in the SEC, but the Big 12 has to do their job, and BYU and Texas Tech have to do theirs. Um, let's see. Any other games we need to get to? Um, let's talk about the two SEC games, Georgia, Florida, and Oklahoma, Tennessee. Um, which game do you feel which team that won today do you feel the strongest about? Oklahoma or Georgia? And it could be bad.
What if I say neither?
Look, I agree.
No,
Georgia doesn't make sense to me.
it doesn't. Georgia, if okay, I am more worried about Georgia than I am about Oklahoma because you were supposed to go in and roll over this Florida team.
Yep.
Whereas Oklahoma was supposed to lose this game, I'm pretty sure, because it
Yes.
was on the road to at Tennessee.
Yep.
And so that's what so I guess I'd have more confidence in Oklahoma. But I keep thinking that Georgia is this untouchable team, but they're not. And
Right.
nobody I think that's what I need to start working on better is not thinking that a team is good due to their history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing with Georgia. That's what I'm doing with Notre Dame. That's what I'm doing with Penn State
Yep.
because their history is rich. They have a lot of awesome years, but this year is
Right.
different. And so that's what I've come to the conclusion of this week is yeah, Georgia might be a team of the past. Are they truly that good? Is Kirby Smart the coach of all coaches? And then, but then you go and struggle against a under 500 Florida team.
Right. But then on the flip side, they're third in the SEC right now. If Texas A&M slips up to end the season at all, there it's probably a rematch between Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship game if Texas A&M slips up a little bit. Their last three games, they play Mississippi State, home versus Texas. They play nobody, and then they play Georgia Tech. Right? They are 7-1 somehow, but they trailed Tennessee in the fourth quarter. They trailed Alabama in the fourth quarter. They should have been down to Auburn 17-0 at halftime. They were down to Ole Miss in the fourth quarter. They were down to Florida in the fourth quarter, and this team just does not die, which is awesome to see. They fight. It's so fun to watch them play. And I'm not sure how Kirby keeps doing it, but he just keeps getting it done, and you have to just respect what he's doing at this point, even though what our eyes tell us is that this Georgia team just doesn't look like Georgia, but they're still winning football games, and I just have to give them my respect, even though like when they're in the playoff, I'm going to be betting heavily against them. And then
Yeah.
they'll probably be down the fourth quarter and manufacture a way to win. And it's going to suck, but it's what's going to happen because this is what this Georgia team does.
And that's the thing is in the past we're so used to Georgia winning 40 to 10, 45 to
Hmm.
3, but now they're winning 24-20. They're winning
Yeah.
32 to 18, just like
Yeah.
ugly games.
Yeah.
But
They've given up 35 points to Ole Miss, 41
mhm,
points to Tennessee. Um, they gave up 24 points and a half against Alabama. And today, like Florida's offense looked good for the most part. They just couldn't get it into the end zone.
yeah. And so that's what is going through my mind. And I think that's what a lot of people are going through is like, is Georgia good? Yes, they're 7-1 in the SEC.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're good, but we're just not used to them being dominant.
Yeah.
They're not winning in the style that we're used to Georgia winning in.
Right.
And so then we're like, oh, wait, are they good?
Yeah. I'm Jack. The college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they do it because the amount of one and two loss teams in the country right now that you have to basically
Nuts.
basically just like peel back layer after layer, and it's just like this fine line that separates like team number 3 through team number 15. Right now it feels like the line is just so thin because I feel like Tennessee or Oklahoma, they're ranked 14th and 18th today. I feel like either of those teams could go into any single SEC environment and win, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I also think they could easily go on the road and lose at Kentucky, at Mississippi State. Like this, like it's the NFL, how every single Sunday, like there's going to be the crazy games that you just don't expect, right? But it's spread out across 60 teams. And then you have to figure out, oh, is the Big Ten like that much better than the SEC? Or is the SEC like, do they just have a bunch of teams that would roll through the Big Ten except for Ohio State? Like, what are we supposed to do, Jack? I mean, probably nothing. We're not that smart, so we probably shouldn't be in charge of determining playoff seeding or anything like that. But I'm sure as heck gonna have the time of my life watching it all unfold.
That that's my biggest takeaway is I want to unfold it in the way that we're looking at games played on the field. We're not looking at potential, oh, this team was supposed to be good. Oh, we ranked this team high preseason, so they should still be high.
Right.
I want them to rank on games played on the field because this hypothetical talk of, oh, Penn State would be good if, or all this nonsense is, I just want them to rank by the way that teams are playing right
Right.
now, right this moment, instead of what I feel like a lot of people do is saying, oh, Texas is a massive name. Arch Manning is a massive name. Let's put them in the top 10.
Right.
That's not the case because there's 10 teams that I can name that are better than Texas. So I
Right.
want I want the committee to really focus on games played on the field.
Right. 100%. I agree with everything you said. So I'm excited to see Texas probably ranked like seventh from the college football playoff committee. Um, and it's gonna piss everyone off. You know, BYU's probably gonna be ranked 13. I don't know. You wanna? I mean,
I
what
told
do
my
you?
friends 12
12?
because everyone's like, "Oh, we're going to be top 10 for sure." I was like, "No, the college football playoff committee hates us. We're going to be around 12, I bet."
Yeah.
I hope I'm completely wrong. I hope we're 9 where we're supposed to be, but
Yes.
it's going to be around that 12 spot is my thought.
Yeah. Hopefully, a win versus, probably like number 18, Texas Tech, helps us get into the top 10 next week. Um, but yeah, Jack, as you can see, I'm wearing my Michigan sweatshirt. We made it 38 minutes. Michigan is one of those teams that has, one loss in conference that is still technically alive for the college football playoff that just shouldn't be. Purdue was right in that game with them, and Purdue has not looked good against a single college football playoff caliber team all season. USC, they have two losses. They have Northwestern, Iowa, UCLA, and Oregon left on their schedule. And heaven forbid if they're somehow able to beat Oregon and USC makes the playoff. No, thank you. I will personally go on a hunger strike or something to get them kicked out because they're not good. They somehow beat Nebraska today. They had to injure Dylan Raiola and Jade Mayava just I don't understand. Like sometimes he's fine, sometimes he's freaking awful. And today he was freaking awful until he led them on a game-winning touchdown drive and they won. Had to fit USC and Michigan in there to wrap this up. Jack, any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Nothing too crazy. Um, just keep watching. I mean, this college football season is one for college football fans in general.
Yes.
And some people will hate that. Other
It's not made
people
for
will,
casuals, baby.
yep. because we're not going to get the Clemson Alabama championship. We're not going to get the Clemson Georgia Alabama Georgia.
Yep.
We could potentially be getting two random teams in the college football playoffs that end up getting in the championship,
Yeah.
which I am all for it.
Give me like Indiana versus
Dude,
give me Indiana versus if we somehow got, I mean it'll never happen. Indiana Vanderbilt is like the dream scenario.
dude,
But if we could get like, let's see, who in the SEC would be fun. If we got Indiana Texas A&M
that'd be
on,
awesome.
it would be unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's what I'm rooting for.
But you know what the craziest part is before we head out? That's going to
What?
be the lowest viewed championship in the last 25 years because it's not Alabama, it's not Georgia, it's not Texas, it's Indiana.
I don't care, man. Like,
Exactly.
r-
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the NBA
y-
Finals,
you don't have to
lowest
love my
viewed.
sport.
No,
I
but
love my
you
sport,
had the
and that's good enough for
best.
me.
If you're an actual NBA fan, you will admit that these finals were some of the best games you've ever watched. And it's going to be the
The
same thing this year.
Yeah, the Thunder Nuggets series was probably like the least watched round two series for how good those two teams were
Hmm.
last season. Same with the Thunder Pacers, obviously. I think people came around at some point during that series a little bit. Um, because I think the last few games had crazy ratings or
Okay.
whatever. But nothing but it's not like LeBron versus Steph or anything, right?
No.
But guess what? Like I mean, people care so much about ratings, and it's like, you know what? If you're gonna let the logos and if you're gonna get the logos on the helmets get in the way of you enjoying an incredible game and two incredible stories, Texas A&M and Indiana, like that's on you. That's on you. And we're here to share the good word of Indiana and Texas A&M, even though I don't think I've watched a second of Indiana football after the first quarter this entire season except for the Oregon game. But I'll still toot their horn, man. I'll still toot their horn.
If Indiana and Texas A&M meet in the championship, this might go down in podcast history.
I hope so. I hope so. Um, but yeah, let's get out of here, Jack. College basketball starts on Monday, dude. It's here. Like
Let's go.
there's never been a better time to be a sports fan
College sports.
in my honest opinion. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll catch you guys next time.